It is Sunday, and some of you know what that means. The fur is flying on the morning political talk shows, and today things took a right turn, and I mean an extreme right turn, when a GOP lawmaker was confronted with the bombshell accusation of flirting with Nazism. The pointed comment was made with regards to the actions of Vice President Vance and the Vice Chancellor of Chaos, Elon Musk. I have the breakdown for you next. We are just 3.5 weeks into Trump's return to the White House, and the comparisons to Hitler's authoritarian rule are piling up, and Musk's affinity for the related extremism has been well documented. From crackdowns on the press to blatant power grabs, political analysts and historians are sounding the alarm with warnings that go beyond Trump is just being Trump. It is something far more sinister and dangerous. How did we get here so fast, and what does this mean to the future of our democracy? Let's dive into the trending news that is surrounding Trump's bunker of tyranny as we build towards the flirting with Nazism face-off. Let's begin with a clip of J.D. Vance offending everyone at a conference in Germany with a comment that was slammed by the German defense minister as undemocratic and not acceptable. It was also described as lecturing Germans to be nice to your Nazis. Have a listen to the clip that went viral and know in advance that the citizens Vance speaks of is AfD, the extreme party in Germany that has frequently been linked to Nazism.
And I really do believe that allowing our citizens to speak their mind will make them stronger still. Which, of course, brings us back to Munich, where the organizers of this very conference have banned lawmakers representing populist parties on both the left and the right from participating in these conversations. Now, again, we don't have to agree with everything or anything that people say. But when when political leaders represent an important constituency, it is incumbent upon us to at least participate in dialogue with them. Now, to many of us on the other side of the Atlantic, it looks more and more like old entrenched interests hiding behind ugly Soviet-era words like misinformation and disinformation, who simply don't like the idea that somebody with an alternative viewpoint might express a different opinion or, God forbid, vote a different way or, even worse, win an election.
Did you hear that? He just described the German N-word as an alternative viewpoint. Vance's rhetoric at the behest of Donald Trump is indefensible, but Marco Rubio, also in service to Trump, has to try. Watch as he attempts to normalize the extremism with his appearance this morning, and on the other side, you'll see the flirting with Nazism confrontation that happened on another program.
He simply expressed in a speech his view of it, which a lot of people frankly share. And I thought he said a lot of things in that speech that needed to be said. And honestly, I don't know why anybody would be upset about it. People are allowed, you don't have to agree with someone's speech. I happen to agree with a lot of what he said, but you don't have to agree with someone's speech to at least appreciate the fact they have a right to say it, and that you should listen to it and see whether those criticisms are valid. I assure you, the United States has come under withering criticism on many occasions from many leaders in Europe, and we don't go around throwing temper tantrums about it.
It should be noted that Rubio, back when he was capable of free speech himself, called his current boss Donald Trump a con artist and the most vulgar person to ever run for president of the United States. But I digress. I promised you the flirting with Nazism clash, and here it is. Watch as Republican Representative Riley Moore gets his butt handed to him on CNN's State of the Union.
Well, it's pure hypocrisy, and what J.D. Vance is doing in Germany is really concerning. We have seen a spike in anti-Semitism in the United States. Just in New York, my home state, we had shocking incidents at Columbia. We have students afraid to go to school. The Anti-Defamation League has called out ADF, and J.D. Vance is embracing a group that flirts with Nazism. It's really, really disturbing.
ADF, the far-right party.
Far-right party in Germany.
Now, I'm sorry. He's not flirting with Nazism. What he's talking about here, what Vice President Vance is talking about, is the censorship and the manipulation of elections that have been happening in Europe. It's been happening on this side of the pond. He is correct. He is 100% correct on this. And if we want free, fair elections, people got to stop meddling.
So should it let the Associated Press back in the White House?
You know, the president can make the call of whoever he would like to have sit in those chairs. That's not censorship. We're not stealing elections by doing something
it's
like that.
It's pure hypocrisy. And let's not forget that ADF is a party that's being boosted by Elon Musk. So he's helping support Elon Musk do regime change in Germany.
You wrote about J.D. Vance this week.
I did. I believe that J.D. Vance is extremely likely to be the next Republican nominee for president, and it's because his position in terms of taking a tougher stance when it comes to when we engage and provide resources around the world, when it comes to his stance around sort of social and cultural issues, he has found a way to connect with the newer generation of Republicans in a way that's pretty striking. He's very good at using social media to deliver his message. And so I really believe that whether you like him or not, he is very much the inheritor of the Trump mantle and is going to carry it on forward. When you see a party like the AfD potentially going to make gains in the German elections, it's not because of somebody like a J.D. Vance flirting with Nazism. It's because the public in Germany is upset.
But here's the thing. He is actually embracing and leaning into the AfD in Germany and giving them space. We have an administration that forgave January 6th rioters who attacked police officers. We have an administration that's building military camps for migrants on military bases, including Guantanamo Bay. I thought we were out of Guantanamo Bay. We're trying to get out of there. And then lastly, they want to welcome and take care of Afrikaners in South Africa who feel like maybe they've been discriminated against after they oppressed black South Africans for generations. I just think the trend line of this administration, and we're not even talking about Elon Musk's hand signals, right? The trend line of this administration is one that's away from liberty, freedom, and all the values and justice that this country is supposed to stand for around the world. People respect us, they admire us, and they want to be one of us. And that's not the administration we're leaning into right now around the world.
The Republican Party, now firmly under Trump's control, has abandoned true democratic and American values. What was once a party that at least paid lip service to democracy has become a vehicle for normalizing rhetoric that was once considered unthinkable. And cronies like J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio have to echo the authoritarian ideologies that Trump and Elon Musk hold dear to their dark hearts. This transformation within the GOP is not accidental. It is a calculated shift towards a brand of politics where extremism is tolerated. It has redefined what it means to be Republican, and it is scary. The question now is not whether the Republican Party will continue down this path, but how far will they go? With Trump back in power and his allies openly engaging in rhetoric that aligns with authoritarian movements, the risk is more than just hypothetical. The party of Trump has now actively worked to suppress votes, undermined institutions, and has cast the free press as the enemy. These are all markings of an authoritarian Nazi-like regime. We are witnessing a shift that won't easily be reversed, at least for the next 4 years. But complacency is not an option, and resistance to the extremism is the duty of freedom-loving Americans. I'm Dan, thanks for watching, and let's continue to occupy democracy together.